Welcome into Volume 2 of Unleashed with Chewy. I am Chewy, and you are listening to ESPN Radio Winchester 1340 1069. We are presented by our friends over there at Burrell's Termite and Pest Control. Jump in with us this morning or this afternoon if you have anything that you would like to post to the chat over here on the Hall Furniture Facebook stream. If you head on over to Facebook right now, if you're listening in on the app, you can head on over to Facebook and come say hi. I'm up and running with the show here, and you can kind of jump in the chat and let everybody know about what you guys are doing out there today. We got an interesting show. This is Volume 2, only the second day of recording, and we'll see if everything goes well this morning. I don't know. I'm hard pressed to imagine anything going correctly today, but that's okay. We're gonna figure it out together. All right, we're gonna talk about some spooky stuff today. Actually, in particular, I wanted to sort of like break down some really interesting sort of creepy folklore, ghost stories, local horrors. If you've got a ghost story, you got a cryptid site, you saw something weird, an interesting conspiracy, something spooky, something fun, let us know in the Hall Furniture Facebook stream. And we're going to get started with some Appalachian folklore, but I did also want to announce today as well that it is Library Worker Appreciation Day, and I would tell you to, hey, go over to the local library up there. It's in Franklin County. It's just down the road from the station. Listen, head on up there and tell them how much you appreciate them, and just let them know that what they do is both seen, heard, and enjoyed. And shout out to them. All of those people up there work very, very, very hard to do all of the incredible things that we get to experience because of that. We got all kinds of fun stuff happening. Tomorrow morning, they should be in studio with us as well. All right, so Unleashed with Chewy, Day 2, Volume 2. We're heading into spooky territory. We're talking maybe a little bit of like real folklore and stuff like that. I particularly am tied to one of these, and it's sort of interesting. I think I've mentioned it maybe once or twice on the morning show, but I've personally got some history with some of this, both familially and spiritually, we'll say. Well, and I'll use those words just for fun. First, though, we are going to be talking about Appalachian spooky stories, not just because they're creepy, not just because they involve mountains and hollers and caves and fogs and old houses and stuff like that, but they speak more like, like a testimony, you know what I mean? Today, what does the Appalachian folklore look like? We've got, sort of a mythologized version of old school Tennessee folklore. We've got, Tennessee wild man. There's the Wampus cat. Like, I know there's a high school who's like, their mascot is the Wampus cat, which I always thought was just super fascinating. And just who died and let them have all the cryptids? As far as getting to pick who has what as a mascot. Because if it were up to me, I mean, I'd be asking for like almost anything comparatively. Give me the wild man. They've got skunk ape and all these other things. There's actually quite a few Tennessee cryptids. If you believe it or not, there is actually also quite a few Nessies around. Believe that. There's some Nessies for Tennessee and like Michigan and places like that. Every lock has their own. If you ask me, I think Tim's Ford needs their own Nessie, like a 15-foot long catfish or something like that. That's what I want to know about. All right, so we're gonna touch on in general why Appalachia just feels a little different. So Appalachia is actually one of the oldest mountain ranges on Earth. It goes from the basically the south. It actually points all the way through towards the northeast, and then it lands in Scotland. Yeah, that's right. The Scottish Highlands and the Appalachian Mountains are both part of the same mountain range that goes underwater, and it's some of the oldest rock that's actually above ground that can be traced back several billion years. So to say that Appalachia is ancient is sort of an understatement. Literally billions of years old. And then on top of that, Tennessee has some of the most extensive cave networks for almost anywhere in the United States. And people who live around here know this. Like literally one of the big attractions around, like within driving distance, it's literally called the Caverns. The cavernous, foggy, dense woodland. It's hard to traverse. This is ripe for folk tales, ghost stories, unknown things. I mean, like how many people have you met like way out in the boonies? Maybe you had a grandma like this, or like an uncle, or someone who's like, don't be whistling at night. Or if you heard something outside, no, you didn't. You know, you hear the tapping on the window and you ignore it. It's they all have those like little ghost stories that they all like to tell, which is both horrifying but deeply intriguing on my part, and I wanted to jump into it because they're not Hollywood ghost stories. You know, they're not serialized, monopolized, or just or not monopolized, but monetized ghost stories. They're just like, that thing that happened over there that's still there. It's a very realistic, gritty version of it. Old family legends, log cabins, and then of course it's stained with the Trail of Tears and the Civil War, and you've got all of these like tragedies that have happened in this area, and it's been a mountain range for so long. So history is not only guaranteed but very ripe in Southern Appalachia. I am curious, though, for anybody who is listening in, jump in with us on the FMO Facebook stream. Did you ever hear of a spooky story or an anecdote that an older person told you to go and like say, hey, don't do X, Y, or Z? I had several relatives who just like would not let me whistle outside at night. That was one for me. I've also heard about a lot of people with like the window tapping, and if you see a pair of eyes in the middle of the night, just go inside. And there's lots of like very like old fashioned magic, the magic in the bottle type things. I don't know. I'm curious if you ever had a sighting or something like that, letting people know, hey, when I was out there, I saw this, or my grandma told me not to do that. Let us know right here in the Hall Furniture Facebook stream. And in particular, the one that I wanted to talk about was actually the Bell Witch. And the Bell Witch is something that we will be getting to in the next segment. So up first, though, as far as like the Appalachian warnings come from, a lot of them also spur from Cherokee legends. Cherokee legends of things that were tied about not wandering around at night. I just looked it up. So don't whistle in the woods. Don't go near certain places. Don't ignore instincts. Some feel symbolic and others don't. And that's the other thing is like there's a strong sense of quote unquote trusting your gut here in Appalachia. When you're outside. Hey, okay, there we go. My mom just jumped in saying, hey, how are you, Mom? She says, hey, cutie. Hey, Mom. Brett Crabtree says, hey, cutie. And then says, we can't have our own mascot here, Brett Crabtree says. And then Doug Garrett also jumped in with, hey, cutie. I'm feeling cute this afternoon. Sorry I didn't update the chat here, folks. I didn't hit the refresh button. I didn't see that everyone when I jumped in. And then Mom says, we ain't going to the Bell Witch Cave, bruh. Actually, we might be someday. I would like to go and do that. So for those of you who do not know, and which would be most of you, I actually am a descendant of the Bell family that was haunted by the Bell Witch. Like literally, my grandmother's maiden name was Bell, as in the same Bell family. I'm trying to get my mom to go down there and go to the Bell Witch Cave with me and see if we can stir up any nonsense, but she's not on board as much as I am. But I am curious, does anyone else have sort of a similar story to that? Are you related to any hauntings, or have you been subject to one as well? I am curious. But also in general, what did your grandparents tell you not to do at night? What did your uncle tell you? Like, hey, when you're doing this, don't do that. Don't mix these things. If you see lavender left on your, foot on your steps, you have to sleep upside down. I want to know what all of these like weird little things were. And also, what do you think? Do you think the monsters were just metaphors for people to not go out into the Appalachian wilderness? There's a prison in the mountains, and whenever a prisoner would escape, they wouldn't panic. because they knew he couldn't get very far. They knew that he wasn't going to be anywhere. So let us know if you think that these are also just symbolic, or do you also believe in some of these wild theories? All right, let's see what we got here first. Misidentified animals, hoaxes that become legend, paranormal activity. If you have anything like that, like here you go, alien and interdimensional activity, government conspiracies and cover-ups. Brett, I know you're going to be on that one. Here's my question for you. Do you think a government has ever covered up anything like that before? Love you too, Mom. Thanks for jumping in the chat this morning. Did grandmother ever tell you anything weird like that, or was did Aunt Hazel ever say anything like, "Hey, don't go outside, don't put these out," like that kind of thing? Genuinely curious on that one. The conspiracy side of this gets fun when you realize every weird story has at least one person who thinks the government knows more than it says it does. Brett. And then I want to know: are they real creatures, real demons? Do you believe it, or are you a believer in the paranormal? Do you even care? Let us know. The Hall Furniture Facebook stream. I am curious as to what everyone else's opinions are. Brett Crabtree says there are animals out there and they'll hurt you. Pretty simple. I think that's a fair explanation. If you ask me, I think for the Appalachian sort of wilderness stories in general, there's lots of black bears. We even have rattlesnakes. There's some areas with scorpions. We have large cats, and if you don't, and also people forget this, like elk and deer are not like harmless animals, like those animals in rutting season, they will hurt you. So I think for me, I don't know. I believe sort of on the I'm on the way of, they're more of a survival warning, sort of a pseudo spiritual sort of thing, and that sort of come out of that. But listen to this: Christianity and folk belief actually overlap in Appalachia as well, canceling each other out. One of the most underrated reasons Appalachia feels early is that the region has a long held together both strong Christian belief and strong folk belief. Smithsonian Folklife notes that Appalachian folk magic traditions have often coexisted with Christianity's, including the use of psalms, Bible verses, charms, plant knowledge, and healing practices. So this is one of those times where the faith actually doesn't go on a witch hunt for it, but it actually helps reinforce a lot of this, these worldviews and these rituals as well. Sort of similar to sort of like if you've ever spent time in like Jamaica or anywhere where they're like Cajun and southern Louisiana, they will incorporate their own religion into some of these folk religions as well. Here it says, and according to the Smithsonian, it says that creates a worldview that is unseen, of an unseen world that is not abstract. It is active. Evil is real. Blessings are real. Places feel wrong. Signs matter. Warnings matter. And in that world, a strange event is less likely to be dismissed as nothing and more likely to be interpreted as morally or through morals or spirituality. That does not mean everyone in Appalachian believes in witches, demons, curses, and signs, but the cultural framework exists for those interpretations to feel plausible, according to the Smithsonian here. Very interesting stuff. So it's almost like the belief in it makes it exist. That is curious. I guess are we living in the version of, scary stories in the dark? Brett came back and said, I think the government is building the alien stories, so they have a way to explain the rapture at the rapture of the church. People will disappear, and the government will say it's alien abductions. That's an interesting point. Appalachia is known for its disappearances, and you have a point as well. The government, as when the atomic project happened, Oak Ridge was actually where they were going and refining a lot of that uranium, and Oak Ridge has been and is still, I think it's still an active laboratory that they do experiments with, and do like government research and stuff like that as well. So those are all good theories as to what they were. Appalachian, continuing with this is from WVU. A lot of Appalachian folklore is not random weirdness. It is a way of teaching caution. All right, so that's what we were after. WVU Extension explicitly ties Appalachian folklore to the dangers of early mountain life. Superstitions and warning tales often helped explain or manage risks involving illness, death, weather, strangers, darkness, childbirth, and the wilderness. Those are, they say, the creepy Appalachian sayings are disguised survival rules. Do not go into the woods at night. Do not wander off alone. Respect the dead. Do not ignore omens. Do not trust every person in place. In that sense, the hauntings can function much like social tools, give danger a face, and people remember it better. Basically, it's sort of a cultural framework designed to help people adapt to a more hostile environment. If you think about it, a lot of the people who came and made land here after the Native Americans were pushed out, they had to adapt, and that's the way you adapt. It's an interesting way. We don't make rules, we tell stories. And I think that's pretty fascinating. Appalachia has turned real historical trauma into a background as well. This is from the national parks. It says, part of the region's eerie quality comes from how much grief and conflict is layered into it. Southern Appalachia carries a history of Cherokee displacement and Trail of Tears, divided loyalties and the Civil War, labor violence, extracted industry trauma, family loss, chronic poverty in many communities. The National Park Service documents Cherokee forced removal and Smoky Civil War divisions, while ARC research continues to note the lasting challenges created by isolation and economic hardship in parts of this region. When a region has that much grief and memory, people often experience emotional load. Old houses, cemetery, ridges, churches, mines, and family lands that don't feel like a blank setting. They feel like they contain residue. This doesn't prove the hauntings, they say, but it absolutely does help explain why Appalachian haunting stories feel more emotionally believable than generic movie setups. Says here that the weather also contributes as well. You will not need a ghost to make a mountain environment feel haunted. Forest acoustics, limited visibility, weather shifts, and even uneven terrain change how people perceive ordinary stimuli. When you are in a hollow or a ridge at night, your brain has less information to work with, and that makes it easier to misread movement, sound, and scale. The land's topography and enclosure amplify the effect. This is where skeptics are partly right. Some eerie Appalachian experiences do come from normal things such as strange animal noises, distant lights by distorted terrain or atmosphere, echoes, fog, and low visibility, branches, owls, foxes, coyotes, and deer moving in ways that the brain did not classify. I know that everyone who grew up around here remembers the time where they were out playing in the backyard or out in the woods or something, and they heard like a bobcat for the first time. If you don't know what a bobcat is, it sounds like a demon. It does. Or like if you ever heard a dying deer, like that sounds like a demonic entity for sure. Joe wants to know, is that where you come from? Appalachia? Yes. I actually was born in Maryville, Joe Abraham, even though you're about to walk into the door. He's bringing the devil to the station. That's right, I am. That's what Brett Crabtree says. All right. You going to join us here? Good morning. Good afternoon, Joe Abraham. How are you?
Dude, chill out with all that stuff. Like Brett said, you're bringing the bad stuff on us.
No, we're in the fold now. After this break, we're gonna jump in. I'm gonna tell everybody about how I'm related to the Bell Witch what the Bell Witch is. And I'm trying to see if I can get my mom to go to the Bell Witch cave with me. So stay tuned to Unleashed with Chewy after these messages. We'll be right back after this.
The Tennessee Lifeline Peer Project connects individuals and families to addiction recovery resources right here in Franklin County and across our region. From treatment referrals and 12-step meetings to education and ongoing support. Because recovery happens when we're stronger together, and life truly is stronger without it. Learn more at fcpctn.org/TNLifeline or call 931-464-0725. Funded under a grant contract with the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
This is Daryl from Columbus, previously from the Paul Feinbaum Show. I like your show. I've been watching you for years. I like you, but I don't like you. I don't know you like Tennessee or Alabama. I don't know which one you like, but I know you don't like the Auburn Tigers, man.
Willie, thank you. I'm a little bit confused by liking me and not liking me, but you laid out your case very well.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, weekdays at 3 Eastern on the ESPN app and on the SEC Network.
Why choose More Courtney Funeral Home? Well, they're a fifth-generation funeral home taking care of the people of Franklin County since 1905. They're committed to serving you, dedicated to providing personalized, professional, and compassionate service to help lighten your burden and help you out during these difficult times. More Courtney Funeral Home, 300 First Avenue Northwest in Winchester, 967-2222. More Courtney Funeral Home.
Got a project to tackle or a party to plan? Skip the stress and rent it instead at Reliable Rental in Winchester. From tools and heavy-duty machines to chairs, tables, and event essentials, they've got what you need to get the job done right. Whether it's work or a weekend celebration, Reliable Rental makes it easy. Stop by 2433 Deckard Boulevard in Winchester or check out everything they offer online at reliablerentalfc.com. Reliable Rental. When you need it, they've got it.
Welcome back to Unleashed with Chewy, presented by our friends over there at Burrell's Termites and Pest Control. Good morning, or good afternoon, everybody. Terry Carter jumping in saying hi. How are you doing, Terry? I hope you're doing well. Brett says that's some bad juju. Well, wait till you hear this next segment, because we're jumping in to the Bell Witch. That's right. Like I said before, I am related to the Bell family. My grandmother's maiden name was literally Bell, as in the same Bell. So for those who do not know, the core story kind of goes like this. Early 1800s, rural Tennessee, the Bell family is there. John Bell is living with his wife, Lucy, and their kids, living what should be a normal frontier life. And then, this is, how does every horror movie start? You got the scratching on the walls, the knocking at night, the sound of chains being dragged through the house, something walking around outside. And mind you, this again is like an old home. So this is not something where, it's not like you thought you heard something at the end of the house. No, it's dead quiet at night. You hear people moving around in the beds at night, the creaking on the floors. So it's not something that they just might have heard. They were definitely hearing these things. And it escalates. Then something starts speaking to them. It starts talking directly to them, telling about what they're going to be doing. All right? And then Joe Abraham jumped in and says, dude, awesome. Unleashed with the Bell Witch. Maybe if we get to go down there, she'll come and talk to me. You know what I mean? I mean, like, I feel like, you were the same family's proverbial punching bag. Maybe that's what's wrong with me. But not just noises, though. It has a voice. Eventually, the Bell Witch's name learns to be known as Kate. So Kate is the name of the Bell Witch in this in the story that they tell. And it's not we saw something in the woods kind of thing. This is a multi-year, multi-witness, physically violent confrontation and intelligent interaction. Not like something was passing through, but like it had settled itself in. All right. Kate as an entity, though, is strange. I'm getting goosebumps. Reportedly having behavior of, but not limited to, speaking in full sentences, quoting scripture, singing hymns, insulting people, and targeted specific family members, especially Betsy Bell, the daughter. And in general, and here's the other thing. Why is it always personal with these stories? Why doesn't it just exist? Why does it care? You know what I mean? Like, why is it a part of this? All right. So the violence, though, get ready for this. Betsy was slapped, pinched, and had her hair pulled. Blankets were ripped off in the middle of the night. Scratches and biting were also reported. Physical attacks in front of witnesses also. This is one thing. It's like one thing to like hear your house. It's like another thing when it starts swinging, and I'm not even really sure how do you deal with a physical ghost, is what I would like to know. Joe says, sounds like it's what I'd like to do to you. Joe, you're in the other room. You're perfectly welcome to walk over here and not hide behind the All Furniture Facebook stream that anyone else can jump into if they'd like to as well. At what point do you stop trying to explain something and just leave? And if your house started doing this, how are you going to stay? I am curious, like if you got to that point, is there a point paranormally where, oh, there he is. Is there a point paranormally where you're like, I'm leaving the house? Like that's what I want to know. For me, I don't know. I've never had a paranormal thing like that happen to that degree. Also, I'll be honest with you. If I'm paying for the house, I'm staying. You know what I mean? Like I will live.
You're not paying rent. Get out.
Exactly.
We
you know
talked
what I mean?
about this. I don't even allow spiders to live in my house, much less poltergeists.
So if you had so this one was biting, slapping, pinching, pulling hair, ripping off blankets, and physically attacking people in front of witnesses.
Yeah. Well, let me put it this way: when you showed up and started like living under the radio station here, I put you to work. So I would probably give the ghost like the overnight shift.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That actually isn't too bad.
Like
the night owl.
Like the midnight or the 11 p.m. to like 2 a.m. shift, something like that.
That's not a bad shift though. If you had your own show,
Yeah.
playing some like classy old like jazz music.
Yeah.
But it would be okay. That is a perfect storybook though. A ghost who owns a radio station. That's kind of funny.
Oh man, I don't know would they play music. So what were the things you said that they were like actually physically beating the crap out of people?
So Betsy, the youngest daughter, was slapped, pinched, and had her hair pulled. Blankets were being ripped off of people at night. There was reports of bite marks and scratch marks.
Sounds like she had a little brother.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like that. Yeah.
As you're reading it, I'm like, wait a minute.
This is some little snot in the middle of the night. But the creepy part for me was like hearing the chains being dragged across the hallways at night.
Yeah.
And hearing the footsteps around, like, because like you've been in like a tent, like at a campsite,
right?
And you'll hear like the pitter patter of like a little mammal or something. But when something big walks by, you can just hear the gate.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm imagining like you're in the middle of Appalachia in the mountains by yourself, and you hear chains being like, I would be like, oh, we're all gonna die.
It's creepy enough when we hear the gopher like chewing on the building.
The first time I heard it, I was like, this is a ghost. Like,
Well,
we're being haunted.
And because it's not like the little nibbling of a mouse. It's like
It's like a crunching, breaking noise. Yeah, and
dude, that would freak me out. I'm not much for one to believe in spirits, ghosts, that type of thing. Like I try to not, I've convinced myself that no. But I got to tell you, if that kind of thing was going on to me, I would be out of there so fast.
You're not staying.
No.
So like you would be like, you're done. Like
first I would evacuate, and then I would evacuate. I mean, I would.
You evacuate your bowels and then the house.
Yeah.
I don't know. See, like I'm too stubborn. Mom jumped in and said I would be ready to square up. Yeah. See, I'm more of like I'm fighting this thing.
Chewy's like, I'll beat this. That's what I would be like. I'd beat the smoke off you, and Chewy's like, I can't be bothered, and he wouldn't even like roll over.
If it's not touching me, like what do you want? Like I'm tired. Like I'm gonna lay down. You can watch, but I'm gonna lay down.
Go hang out with the spiders in the corner. Okay?
Yeah, like that's why like I've never had a problem with sleep paralysis. If you want to sit there and be spooky all night long, that's fine, dog. But I'm laying down. Like I'm not gonna spend my time worrying about what you're doing in my house,
dude. Sleep paralysis is creepy.
Sleep paralysis is like a fear of mine, and then the more you entertain it, they say that you can like catch it psychologically.
Dude,
and
the
that's
things
what
that
I'm
people
afraid
talk
of.
about seeing,
right?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to know what my mind can conjure under
No.
circumstances like that. I sleep with my head to the back of the thing anyway.
I'm pretty sure ever since I bought the radio station, I've been in sleep paralysis, and like you're my nightmare.
Man.
You're my haunting.
Oh,
you are
dude,
related to
I'm
the
the Bell Witch,
I
and I'm
know.
haunting you. Now it's the Abraham Witch.
Oh man.
Wow, I didn't even know that. I was an unwitting participant. No, could you imagine though?
You're so good at being a ghost, you didn't even realize what you're doing.
Dang. imagine, though, if I was your sleep paralysis demon. Do you know what I mean? And, like, what wakes you up is the Doritos in my hand. You hear, like, a huge, loud crunch. Like, what is that?
Dorito dust hitting me in the face as it tickles my
The
nose.
smell of Cool Ranch in the air.
Oh, gosh.
Brett says, those are called demons, and they are not to be messed with. Renounce them in the Lord's name, and they have to leave. Yeah, see, here's my thing, though. Like, I'm still fighting
I've tried
it.
that with Chewy. He didn't leave.
I'm still fighting it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm mad. Like, if you knock off a glass, it's over. Like, I'm not. This is not worth it. You will be out of here. But yeah, as far as ghosts go, I've never even had a personal experience with like a ghost. Like I've never seen an apparition. I'd love to. I'm open to the idea. If an apparition would like to come down and sit here with us today and let Joe Abraham know that he exists.
Nope.
Come do it. My
good.
mom specifically.
Don't bring that stuff in here.
I am calling upon
No,
all
stop it. Stop.
dark witches and wizards. All ghosts come and appear right before us. Oh no, it didn't work.
We just got rid of the demon that was living in the board.
What was the name? Dead Wave.
Dead Wave. We just got rid of that dude.
Well,
don't invite him
then
back
we're not
in.
going to have a ghost in the board. We're just going to have a ghost. I think it'd be fun to have a resident ghost.
If
Don't
you invite them in, they come in.
Open invitation.
Stop.
All ghosts in Franklin County come converge.
Nope, you're not allowed. Don't listen to him. He's only part-time. Don't listen to him.
He doesn't even own the station. Stop. He has no
not true.
authority here.
He's full-time now.
All right, so okay, let's continue on with the Bell story. They're the Bell Witches.
Yeah,
though.
tell me more about the Bell Witch thing, because I find this extremely interesting.
So, in general, neighbors, visitors, and outsiders all came. There's a story, possibly apocryphal, about Andrew Jackson. He says that he visited, experienced strange events, and then left saying, "I'd rather fight the British than deal with the Bell Witch." Is this true? That is debatable, apparently. The haunting is so famous that it got turned into an attraction, though, and to see it while it was still happening. So you were like literally bringing people in to come and witness this. This is where it gets a little dark. John Bell gets sick.
Okay.
And
hold on. So how did the Bell Witch originate? Like, did she die?
No, we
don't know?
We'll get there.
Okay.
But just this family, it's not. So what people sort of forget about the Bell Witch is like it's actually not really about the Bell Witch. It's about the family that the witch haunted.
Oh, okay.
That's
So I thought the witch was a bell, but the witch was just haunting the bells.
Yes, the Bell family. Right. So they named the witch after the family that she terrorized.
Right.
So John Bell, the father, starts to get sick. Twitching, difficulty speaking, and then he continues to get worse. And then one day he's completely unresponsive, and a strange vial of liquid is found. And the entity claims responsibility, saying that it poisoned him with the liquid in the vial.
How did the entity speaks in full sentences?
Yeah, like this is one of the few entities where it was like the fully cognizant, fully aware, fully malevolent entity that would like come and say things. Like it wouldn't just walk around and knock stuff off.
Right.
It was like they were hearing it. You know what I mean?
And so where was this happening?
Middle Tennessee somewhere.
Okay.
I'll have to look up the exact location.
I think it would be very interesting to take you the last remaining well, not the last, but one of the last descendants of the Bell family. I think we should take you there.
I would 100% go. I would spend the night at the Bell Witch Cave. If you wanted me to do that, I would totally do it. Like go take a sleeping bag and
let's do it.
I'll
take you up there. I'll film it. Film you getting possessed.
I'll film it with the drone though. I'm going to stay 45 feet away. So after Bell Witch dies, the entity just leaves. It just goes. Saying
after the Bell guy dies?
After the patriarch dies, it says that it just leaves. Like of the hauntings just sort of end. It says that it'll return, and according to some versions, it does very briefly, but then disappears again. And it didn't get defeated. It didn't get solved. It's just done with whatever left it wanted to do. And apparently that was get rid of John. And but it is rooted in a real family, and that is from southern Middle Tennessee. And this was it wasn't just like a poet, like a journal was found of someone who was in the family. This was a multi-year, multi-witnessed, long paranormal event where this family was terrorized. I do want to ask one question, though. At a certain point, when are you going, after several years, when are you saying maybe we should just get going?
Several years? I would say for several hours. I would
I would say, like, if the first time I witnessed my kid's hair get pulled from the ether, I'm like, maybe we shouldn't be around here.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I don't feel welcome.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe let's go anywhere else.
Literally anywhere else. Like, maybe even the neighbor's house.
Now, that being said, I still think we should take you up there.
I'm all about it, dude. Like, we need to make this an event. That's what I want to know. But it was something that was seen, and it had a personality. It was petty, mocking, and intelligent. So it would literally make fun of, like, the family.
Yeah.
Every time it would taunt them as well.
Dude, I think I'm your bell witch.
Yeah.
I mean, these are all things that describe our relationship.
See, who's the real ghost? Maybe it's you. But there's a couple explanations, though, that we will jump into, and we're going to jump into it after this break. We're going to be back with more Unleashed from Chewy on ESPN Radio Winchester 1340 1069, presented by our friends over there at Burrell's Termite and Pest Control. Stay tuned after these messages.
Spring is a season of renewal, and at High Point Health System, with Ascension St. Thomas, your health is always in season. From routine checkups to advanced care, their dedicated team is here to help you feel your best, today and every day. Compassionate care, backed by the strength of Ascension St. Thomas. This spring, take a moment for your health. Learn more or find a provider at highpointhealthsystem.com. High Point Health System with Ascension St. Thomas, caring for you for every season of life.
I'm Kristen Abraham, curator of Abraham Art Gallery right on the square in downtown Winchester. Looking for something unique? Every month brings a new featured artist, original art to inspire and share with the community. Come in, explore, and discover art that's ready to go home with you today. Whether you're redecorating, collecting, or just need something that sparks joy, this is your place. We're open Tuesday through Saturday. Find us on Instagram and Facebook. Visit abrahamgallery.com or stop by at 106 North High Street. You never know what you'll fall in love with.
You ever go down the rabbit hole at 2 in the morning and come out questioning everything? That's kind of what it's like listening to Unleashed with Chewy, presented by Burrell's Termite and Pest Control. That's right, this isn't your typical show. We're going to be talking conspiracies, space, movies, science, whatever our brains have got spinning that day. Some days make sense, most definitely don't. Either way, we're going to have a great time. Unleashed with Chewy, weekdays from 2 to 4 on ESPN Radio Winchester.
This is Joe Abraham inviting you to start your Wednesday mornings with a little attitude on the starting lineup. It's Where's the Beef Wednesday, when Chewy and I are joined by the one and only humpback swamp donkey Ricky Tips to air our biggest beefs. From sports to life, nothing is off limits. And we want to hear yours too. It's your midweek release valve. Where's the Beef Wednesday, every Wednesday on the starting lineup, right here on WCDT Winchester.
Back to Unleashed with Chewy on ESPN Radio Winchester 1340 1069, presented by our friends over there at Burrell's Termite and Pest Control. Jump in with us this morning on the Hall Furniture Facebook stream. We're talking some spooky stuff this afternoon, and particularly the Bell Witch. And I was looking into more of it. So also it is claimed that the intelligence part is actually one of the oddest parts about this, where the entity reportedly knew of conversations happening miles away, repeated sermons from churches that it was not present at, and answered questions about events that it could not have observed. Which is, I don't know. Okay, if there was a ghost quoting sermons, though, that's kind of, for me, like, that's where I would be like, oh, it's not fun anymore. You know what I mean? Like where you're like, uh-oh. You know, it
none of this would be fun for me. I don't know.
You don't think a ghost would be fun?
No, this isn't like Ghostbusters where they find ghosts and are just cool with them. I don't know.
I've never met a mean ghost.
I've never
met a ghost.
That's true.
So it sounds like you're being kind of judgmental based off what you see in
Ghostist.
Hollywood. Ghostist. You're being deadest.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. It's kind of like sharks.
Okay, so you're wrong about sharks, but I understand why you fear sharks. Okay, but it's not true.
No, that's what I mean. Sharks get a bad rap. It's those dolphins you got to watch out for.
It's the dolphins. Dolphins act more like the Bella Witch than sharks do. We'll just put it that way. Dolphins also do more stuff. Ghost. I almost said ghost. Doug Garrett.
Ghostes.
Yeah, Doug Garrett jumped in saying Old Cowan Road was haunted. I've heard about a couple local hauntings, in particularly ones like there's like a train where you can go and park on the tracks. And they say that a ghost
That's
train,
not a good idea.
Yeah, right. I remember my friends like, we're going to go out to the tracks tonight. We're going to sit there and see if it happens. And so they would do it, and then they would always go like, yeah, it happened. And then there was always that one guy who was like, yeah, I don't know. We were there for a little while. There was like a light down far away, but that was it. You know, and it's always like one of those. I've never done it. Also, I feel like sitting on the train tracks is a dumb thing to do. Even like ones that aren't still functional. Like, I don't know.
Don't fall asleep.
Yeah. That's like that. First off, that's a scary threat. Don't go in the dark. But so back to the Bell Witch though. There is a cave that she's associated with.
Yeah.
And this cave is purportedly a natural cave system. It's a limestone cave with winding passages and underground water. Some people say that they think it's a dwelling place, the source of, or the home base of said witch. But really, the whole story just kind of dies after John passes away. And they think that there are basically a few explanations for it. Some people think that it was literally another woman who was basically disgruntled with him and the family. In particular, that's why she picked on the daughter so badly. Is she really, really hated John. And that's one of the purported explanations where it was just whether that be someone just like an obsessed stalker or a lover or like a secret lover or something, or former lover, whatever you want to try and call it. But that was one of them, one of the purported explanations. I'm going to look up more explanations here.
I could see that. Like, if you went and like started working at another radio station, I would totally haunt the crap out of you.
Every post you report it, like, you know, like I get shadow banned and I don't know why, you know. But some realistic explanations and why they don't hold up.
What if it was just him, and then when he died?
So you're knocking on the door of something. Some people find what was happening was actually a family conflict between land disputes, social tension, and someone faking events for revenge or control. There was a known dispute, however, between John Bell, who had issues with a woman named Kate Batts. This is likely where the name Kate, associated with the witch, came from. The theory goes that somebody was connected to that conflict and staged the haunting, or the family exaggerated the events, or one person in the household was manipulating everybody else. This is how they can explain the voice. This is how they can explain the targeting and the narrative consistency. Where it breaks down is there were multiple witnesses over long periods of time. There were physical interactions reported in front of other people, and the duration of time in which it takes. A hoax makes sense until you try to explain how long it lasted and how many people were brought into it. There's always that term where they say 3 people can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead.
Right.
You know, and so it's sort of that idea. So another one is they think that it could have been mass hysteria or / what's called group psychology. And this is where like a group of people together in an isolated place collectively agree on delusion sometimes.
Stuff like that drives me no, I guess insane is not a really good term to use here, but stuff like that drives me nuts when they talk about it. I feel like you're gaslighting me into believing something else, right? But the same thing as far as, so what was the lights? There was some in the 1500s or something like that. There were these, and they had these descriptions of this, essentially like a battle that took place in the sky. And scientists nowadays are just like, oh yeah, it was just some sort of like light sundogs. That's what they call them, sundogs.
Sundogs.
Just like some sort of thing, the light, a trick of the light. You know, and,
literally.
Yeah, and it's like, well, let's not gaslight the poor dead people that believe that they saw aliens fighting in outer space. I don't know. We don't know. We weren't there. But to say that an entire group, an entire family of people was just, it was just mass hysteria. Well, it's kind of messed up.
There have been actual cases of mass hysteria, though.
Yeah.
I will give you that. But so I'm saying the phenomenon does exist, but you're saying don't discredit it because we can't prove it.
Right.
I guess I see what you're saying, but it also gives credence to the idea it's not worth arguing about, though. Do you know what I mean? Now, I tell you what, as far as lights in the sky, though, when it comes from that kind of thing, I think what was his name? He sailed the ocean blue in 1492.
Columbus.
He saw some. Have you heard about this? Columbus reported seeing,
aliens.
Yeah, like alien lights. He had all kinds of weird stuff in his journal going across.
Really?
Yeah. Mass hysteria, though. The idea wasn't
kind of like
that
the listeners for your show.
Hey, I like that. Everyone here wasn't lying. They were influencing each other. Fear spreads, suggestion spreads, expectations also spread. People start hearing exactly what they are looking for, seeing what others are describing, and reinforcing each other's beliefs. This is real. The group belief can absolutely alter perception, intensify fear, and create what's called a quote-unquote shared experience. There have been documented cases in which two people have been hallucinating, and they both agree on what they were hallucinating on independently. So this is a real thing. This sort of explains why multiple people heard and said similar things, is that they were sort of prompted to expect it.
Right.
And so they weren't witnessing something, they were confirming their own suspicions.
Right. So almost like the seed was planted and then they kind of became like they were looking for something.
Right. And that's sort of where the performance line sort of comes in. It's one thing for a group to scare itself, but when another thing for a fear to start acting like it has a personality.
Yeah.
But that can be curated. But if you would like to delve into the more metaphysical realm, the poltergeist theory or psychic energy sort of is where this goes. It says that it wasn't a ghost, but energy generated by a person tied to stress. I don't know how much I believe in this one particularly.
Yeah, I'd go more with ghost.
I would believe in a ghost before bad vibes.
I've laid in bed at times and been like, man, I wish I could just do the show without getting up. But you know what? I was not able to create any energy to actually do the show without doing the show.
Yeah.
But that would be awesome.
Energy created, not destroyed, or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But maybe, I don't know. But environmental, also, skeptics take an environmental approach, saying that the altered perceptions that could have come from certain things like mold, which was common back then, especially in very humid environments. If you have black mold in the house and different kinds of them, they can actually affect you cognitively.
Yeah, they were all high.
Contaminated water, ergot fungus, one of history's first recorded hallucinogens, toxic exposure. The access to lead back then was exceedingly easy.
Mercury.
Or mercury, all of it. All of these things.
It's just lifestyle.
Their lifestyles did genuinely set them up for failure, like mentally. You know what I mean? Like hold on, let me finish my lead chips and while I sip on my mercury here. Now, what was this you said about a poltergeist? You know, it's like it doesn't work. But all of these things can induce paranoia, shared symptoms in a household, and auditory hallucination. For a lot of people, it grounds it in science for them. It does break, though, because, again, the problem with the Bell Witch story and the reason that it sticks around is the consistency of shared details across independent sources. That's the biggest thing that keeps drawing people back to this story, because you can point out and you say maybe it was mass hysteria, maybe it was lead poisoning, maybe it was psychological, maybe it was performative. But the problem comes in is when outside people come in and report the same stories without it.
Right.
You see what I mean?
So you know what talking about this, for some reason, it reminded me of a movie that is just absolutely tremendous. It's called The Others with Nicole Kidman. And if you have not seen the movie The Others, you got to watch it. It's got one of these like great all-time twists at the end.
One of the best twists ever.
Yeah, it is so cool. And, man, I don't know, but now I want to go watch that movie.
Yeah, that's a good movie. We should talk about that. So fraud plus real-life fear, this is known as the hybrid theory, and this is one of the more believable blends. The idea is that it started as a hoax or misunderstanding, but immediately the fear took over and the story grew into something larger than the original cause. So maybe someone faked early events, the family believed it, the community reinforced it, and eventually everyone knew that it was real now.
Yeah. Well, especially because, again, they were all like high on mercury.
Right, yeah. And so you're like, imagine, though, yeah, you've got, I'm not saying that that's what happened, but I'm saying it sounds like a combination of factors that fall into this. And then the cave effect. So the caves in particular, it's they talk about the psychological sort of pretenses around why mystery starts in caves and that kind of thing. One is, caves can distort sound detection, create delayed echoes, amplify whispers, cause sensory confusion, remove visual reference points, struggles to orient oneself with your mind. It starts to fill in missing information, and it becomes hyper alert. That means that tiny sounds will sound like they're right behind you, and your brain will fill in the gaps, so to speak. But here's the truth that no one's going to argue over. Number one is the duration, the interaction, the consistency, and the number of witnesses all involved in the entire situation. Those are all true, verified facts that all happened. There are people who said, yes, I went there, yes, I saw it. Now, that's true eyewitness testimony. We do know about how long it did last, and we do know that there was some kind of genuine interaction between John's family and someone else, whether that be the Bell Witch or someone stalking them.
Bro, it's 2.5 hours away. I think we should get our own genuine interaction with you.
I'm all for it. I would like to see what's up. Like, it'd be like, I bet, like, I'm kind of chill.
I pulled it up. I've already got directions.
Dude, we need to go do a live from the Bell Witch Cave.
Adams, Tennessee. We're gonna go have a live interview with the Bell Witch.
Live Bell Witch interview. Tune into that tune into Unleashed for that. Yeah. So I think I've done Bell Witch enough, but that was just sort of the first spooky foray into the Bell Witch in general, and I am genuinely curious if anybody on the on the Hall Furniture Facebook stream, let me know. Have you heard of the Bell Witch? Did you know about it? Have you personally witnessed any poltergeists or anything like that? Do you have any spooky, scary stories? Appalachia in general is notorious for, especially if you've got some of the old folk who live out in the boonies, they will let you know about, hey, don't go outside because there's a hag, or, there's a dog with a rabbit's head out there, and don't bark at it, don't snap at it, don't tell it to come here. If you heard something in the woods, no, you didn't. Did you have anything like that growing up sort of in the Northeast?
I'm sure that we did. We had a lot of those like superstitions where you don't go in the bathroom and say this name 3 times and
blah, like
blah, blah.
Bloody Mary and stuff.
Yeah, but I can't recall any of them specifically.
Like, I remember growing up just like going to church with some of these people, and it's like there were definitely, when I was a child, there were people who still definitely believed in like magic.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that was like it was like a real thing.
Yeah.
Like it was like a part of nature. And there were
What kind of church you go to?
Way out in the boonies. Like it was, but I mean, like there were people, but they had that vibe. They were like, "Oh, you're sick. Go get some, wolfsbane or something and chew it up and then spit it out." You know what I mean? Like that version of magic, that very material thing.
So you got me going down a rabbit hole here now. I am looking at like all the Bell Witch movies. There's a movie that came out in 2007, 2008. The Bell Witch Haunting in 2013.
That's the one that I watched, and they were swimming in Middle Tennessee in February, and I was like, "Oh, this was filmed in California."
Yeah.
You know.
And then An American Haunting, back in 2005, has a Bell Witch tie.
It's a really interesting story.
Yeah, it's been played out in pop culture.
There's lots of other like unsavory details that I did not talk about specifically on air as well. There's some questions on abuse and other things like that are also involved. So if you're going to get involved in one of these stories, just be wary of that as well. It's not a happy story for sure. It's a spooky story, but there are parts of it that are not as fun. But other than that, I'm all about it. But I think that's about it for the first hour. And we're going to jump into some cryptids up here next, coming up on Unleashed with Chewy.
The other side of your family tree.
Yeah, the other side of the Chewy family tree. Tune in for more after this break. We'll be back with Unleashed with Chewy, sponsored by our friends over there at Burrell's Termite and Pest Control. Stay tuned after these messages.
Out with the cold, in with the comfort. Refresh your home with Hall Furniture in Winchester. From stylish living room sets to cozy recliners and dining pieces made for gathering, now's the perfect time to upgrade your space. Quality, comfort, and pieces you'll love coming home to. That's Hall Furniture. Visit them at 3131 Deckard Boulevard in Winchester or browse anytime at hallfurniture.com. Hall Furniture. Make your home feel brand new.
With the latest from around FCHS and Rebel Nation.
The Rebel Report, every weekday, presented by Oaklawn Baptist Church, right here on ESPN Radio Winchester.
Welcome back to another edition of the Rebel Report. We've got a big week ahead for Franklin County Athletics as multiple teams are making their final push towards the postseason.
That's right. Let's start on the diamond where the Rebel baseball team is gearing up for a huge district showdown. They'll take on Tullahoma Monday night in the first game of a 2-game series.
And this isn't just any regular season matchup. This series will determine who secures the number 2 seed heading into the district tournament. So, there's a lot on the line.
You can expect a competitive atmosphere as both teams look to gain momentum at just the right time. A strong performance here can make a big difference when tournament play begins.
Switching over to the softball field, the Rebelettes are back at home Monday night as they host Warren County.
The girls are looking to stay above 500 on the season, and this game is another important opportunity to build confidence and consistency heading into postseason play.
Every game matters this time of year, and protecting home field could give them the boost they need going forward.
Now let's head to the soccer pitch. The Rebel boys soccer team will be on the road Tuesday night as they travel to take on district rival Shelbyville.
This is another high-stakes matchup as both teams are battling for a top seed in the district tournament. With so much on the line, expect a fast-paced and intense game.
Road games are never easy, especially against a rival, but the Rebels have shown they can compete with anyone when they're playing their best.
It's shaping up to be an exciting week across all sports, with each team fighting for position and momentum as the postseason quickly approaches.
We'd like to wish all of our Rebel teams the best of luck as they head into these important matchups and prepare for their respective district tournaments.
Make sure to come out and support if you can, because your energy in the stands truly makes a difference.
That's all for this edition of the Rebel Report.
We'll see you next time, and as always,
go Rebels!
Located at 108 Memorial Drive in Winchester, Oaklawn Baptist Church is a place where families grow, faith is strengthened, and students are encouraged to live with purpose, which is why we're proud to sponsor the Rebel Report. Our mission is simple: introduce people to Jesus and build strong families through God's Word. Join us this weekend for Sunday school at 10 and worship to follow at 11. Learn more online at oaklawnbaptistchurch.org.
You're listening to ESPN Radio 1340 AM WCDT and 106.9 FM W295 AV Winchester, Southern Middle Tennessee sports leader.
You are now experiencing Unleashed with Chewy on ESPN Radio Winchester, presented by Burl's Termite and Pest Control. Please stand by for your regularly scheduled broadcast and enjoy the show.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Unleashed, brought to you by our friends over there at Burrell's Termite and Pest Control. I am Chewy, and I'm joined by my friend Joe Abraham this afternoon. We're talking some spooky stuff. Just got done talking about the Bell Witch and some familial ties that I've got with them. And we're going to jump into some Tennessee-specific cryptids. That's right. Tennessee is actually home to quite a few. I know, Appalachian cryptids in general seem to have, certain states kind of have monopolies on them. Like West Virginia in particular has, I think the most, and probably the most popular. But there's plenty of cryptids to choose from, so not too worried.
They must be bored up there, though. They probably don't have a lot to.
Yeah. I mean, you're out in the middle of nowhere. Caves. That, and also it's like, how many people do you know? 12? You know what I mean? You're that far out and that isolated.
Plus Greg, the Wookiee that lives around the corner.
Exactly. So I'm just saying, we're just going to jump into some Tennessee cryptids here. By the way, Brett Crabtree did jump in here trying to put a thorn in my side, saying there's stories about people going to the moon, but those stories aren't true. And then he just shrugs. And I'm like, well, it doesn't need your approval, Brett. But
trolling the troll.
Yeah, he's trying. There's other things, But I will let you know if NASA comes back and tells me that we didn't go to the moon, though.
Yeah.
I'm the definitive authority on moon landings, so you should be definitely listening to me 100% of the time.
If there's somebody that I would say, there's a possibility that they originated from the dark side of the moon, it would be you.
All right, I like that. You know what? I'm not mad about that, as long as it's not like Jupiter.
Yeah, I heard when I was a kid that people that came from Jupiter were stupider.
Yeah, that was the joke. You didn't have to explain it, but sorry.
I don't know. There might be some people that came from Jupiter that listen to the show. Who knows?
Oh, space aside, we'll come to that some other time, and we'll get back to that. The Tennessee cryptids, though, I want to start off with one. The Tennessee wild man. So he is 6 to 8 feet tall, covered in dark or reddish hair, human-like but bulky. This part comes up a lot. Strong smell, and then loud screaming and whooping calls. Sightings include the Great Smoky Mountains, rural East Tennessee, and heavily wooded areas. Unlike generic Bigfoot stories, Tennessee sightings often include aggressive behavior, stalking from a distance, and knocking sounds in the woods, like tree knocks. And if it wasn't for... listen, it sounds like they're describing me. I get it.
100%. That is totally you. Why didn't you tell me that you were famous outside of being famous?
People go around the woods and they just see me just
He's running around naked in the woods.
Just buck ass nude. Hooting and hollering, okay?
Stepping on thorns and stuff.
And people are like, we better get out of here.
Where are my Crocs?
I'm the only Bigfoot you'll ever see in socks.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
To be quite fair about this whole thing, how tall did you say that they said?
6 to 8 feet.
Okay,
so I'm the shortest one.
But listen, if you know how people embellish when they're afraid and they see every other line that you described,
covered in dark or reddish hair.
If people were to ask me to describe you, reread that description.
6 to 8 feet tall, covered in dark or reddish hair, human-like but bulky. Strong smell, and then loud screaming or whooping calls.
I got a checklist over here.
I know.
Check.
Check. Andrew jumped in saying Halloween. Go for him as Halloween. As Andrew. That's a good idea. I should take my shirt off.
Yeah.
That would be fun though. But again, the weird part about it is usually Bigfoot's seen as this kind of skittish thing. You chase it and it runs away. This is sort of the opposite. This guy is like, hey, if you catch me, dude, you're not going to be telling anybody. You know what I mean?
Lurking.
Yeah.
Just look. Describe what was it? How it described its behavior?
Aggressive behavior, stalking from a distance.
Stalking from a distance.
Or knocking sounds in the wood. So going around on trees and limbs and.
I just imagine you standing out in the woods, stalking me with a grilled cheese in your hand.
Oh my God, you're such a jerk sometimes. Gosh, but no, yeah, I see it.
I'm actually crying.
Like, golly. Just out in the woods, just.
Oh God.
They never said like what or why their screams were the way they were. So it could be like, screams of lament. All right. Come on, we're professionals. We can do this.
I'm dead. I'm done. That is, out of every show that we've ever done together, that is the hardest I've ever laughed.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Has anyone else ever heard of the Tennessee Wild Man outside of me? Like, without describing me, has anyone been unfortunate enough to catch one of these? Oh my God. Here's a better question. Would you rather run into me in the woods or the actual Tennessee Wild Man? That's what I want to know. You're out hiking. Who do you see? Who do you want to be caught by, me or possibly a wild animal? Oh, and also, do you think that it could be something else? I mean, I've been known to hike naked. You ever hike naked? Like, no. Dude, you should try it.
I would be scared to like catch myself on a pricker bush or something.
Yeah, you get snagged.
Yeah,
you yank that right off. Never been. I actually haven't been hiking naked. I have been hiking barefoot, which was fun, but never been hiking naked. But I feel like we could totally sell that. You know what I mean? Like hiking, like a nudist hiking retreat.
People would probably pay a ton of money.
Oh man, like a nudist colony, but for like Okay, hold on. This is kind of a genius idea. Like private.
Maybe
land.
don't talk about it on air because somebody will steal it.
Yeah, but a nudist like hiking trail.
Yeah.
And campsite.
Yeah.
Come on, you know what I mean? That's an easy sell. Okay, composing myself.
Walk out in the woods with your wood out.
Wow.
I'm just saying. I mean, that's the marketing writes itself.
Yeah, I mean, it's written on the wall. So, moving on.
Please.
The Wampus cat. Have you heard about this one?
No, I haven't heard of that one.
So the Wampus is a large cat-like creature, glowing eyes, sometimes is walking upright, and then sometimes is more panther-like. It comes from a Cherokee legend that was eventually adapted into Appalachian folklore. People says that it stalks people, screams, or howls at night, and associates with bad omens or even punishment. This, honestly, to me, is one of the weakest entries as far as the cryptid sort of goings are. It's just a cougar. You know what I mean? Speaking of nudist wildlife colonies, but it just sounds like a cougar.
Yeah.
Like the scream / howl thing. You ever heard like a cougar like in the distance before?
No.
It is a
yeah.
horrifying noise.
Yeah.
Like all of the cats in Tennessee do not make normal noises. Some people say that the Wampus cat literally is just another kind of panther native to the southeast.
Yeah,
which is possible. All right, so you know how we just got done with the Tennessee Wild Man. Florida has its own version of Bigfoot as well, and this specific Bigfoot has also been sighted in Tennessee.
Okay, Florida's like version of Bigfoot's not like all cracked out or methed out or something, is it?
Okay. So
we're getting there.
It's similar to Bigfoot, but it's smaller, stockier, and is the reason it's called this is it has an extremely strong odor, that of rotting eggs, garbage, or swamp gas. It's called the skunk ape. This is a real thing that you can look up.
This is a real fake thing.
Oh, this is a real fake thing, but there are pictures of this, and it is like the most horrifying thing you could ever see. It is like a horror film.
What is it called?
The skunk ape. And it's literally, that's all it is. It has two characteristics. It's from Florida, and it smells like garbage. And that's the extent of it. And people say that every now and again it shows up in Tennessee. This one's my favorite. This one's called the White Bluff Screamer.
White Bluff Screamer.
From White Bluff, Tennessee, there are reports of blood-curdling screams in the middle of the night, something large moving in the woods, never clearly seen, but some say it's humanoid, some say it's animal-like, and then some say they saw nothing at all and just heard about this White Bluff screamer. Some attribute it to being what they call an apparition, paranormal activity, the ghost of Cherokees screaming into the wilderness. But no one knows exactly what it is, other than the fact that if you head out there to White Bluff, you will hear it in the middle of the night. Sometimes also heard moving through the woods by hikers and campers, as well as people driving down the road, which is hilarious. Like, could you imagine taking the wrong turn, and in the woods you just hear a guy off a bluff hooting and hollering. This is a good one. Brett, you'll like this one. This is the Tennessee Lizard Man and other reptilian sightings. Humanoid reptilian creatures with glowing and reflective eyes have been reported walking and stalking the Appalachian wilderness in southern Middle Tennessee. Quick, erratic movements and other near-road sightings. This is one of the ones that basically gets pulled in conspiracy territory. Speaking of things like Oak Ridge and other government buildings, TVA in particular gets brought up a lot around this one. This is definitely the strange sort of alien stories that come out of Tennessee. But the lizard men are a real thing, and apparently also running half of the government. So,
dude, do yourself a favor and don't look up scary things caught on trail cameras.
Oh, dude, is that not the best? There's some awful stuff that they have out there. We need to make a cryptid spotting thing here in Winchester. We do have a cryptid. I don't know if anyone else reads 931 Go, but they have talked about specifically the swamp squatch that resides near Tim's Ford.
Yeah,
also known as the Devil Step Demon.
Pretty sure that was just you. But.
Well, two things can be true at once. Here's a creepy one that I've never heard of.
Okay.
The black-eyed children. Not exclusive to Tennessee,
Whoa.
but they are reported here. Children with completely black eyes who appear at doors, roadsides, and next to cars, and then just ask to be let in. They are known for their unsettlingly polite behavior. They create intense dread in the people who witness them, and people report an overwhelming instinct to refuse them.
You think?
Yeah. But taps at people's windows near supermarkets, old country roads where people have stopped off to the side, diners in the middle of nowhere on old Appalachian roads, all sightings in which they said that the children have knocked at windows, doorways, and car doors.
Yeah, I looked it up. It says these beings are alleged to be either undead, ghostly, demonic, alien, or otherwise inhuman creatures attempting to impersonate ordinary human children.
Yeah. I'm getting goosebumps now.
That's terrifying.
I think that would be the scariest thing. I would literally rather see a lizard man.
Well, yeah. The movies where you have the kid who just all of a sudden appears or whatever, or the two, the twins standing down the hallway in what is it, The Shining or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, those types of that is nope, can't do with the kids.
Like a child first off, the a child knocking on your window, your car window alone is already why are you okay? You know what I mean? That anxiety just from that alone. Here's an interesting one. There's one called the quote-unquote not deer / wrong animal phenomenon. This popped up in the Bellwitch story, particularly where you have chimeric animals or animals that move incorrectly, have wrong proportions, behave unnaturally, or seem aware in a human way. Deer are a big problem when it comes to this one. People talking about deer staring directly at their tree stands, deers whispering, deer and elk walking on their back legs.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then deer also, after getting shot, getting back up, looking at the hunters, and then finally passing away without knowing where they came from. So, not deer is one of these called.
Not cool.
Not cool, not deer. I don't know. Out of all of those, though, Tennessee Wildman tickles me the most. It's known to be smelling like rotting vegetation, wet animal, or almost chemically or sour, which is consistent across southern states for their versions of Bigfoot, basically. So those are some of the Tennessee Bigfoots. Bigfoots. Those are some of the Tennessee cryptids. For me, really, the creepiest one is the black-eyed children.
I can't deal with that one.
I didn't even know about this. Has anyone else heard about this before? Like, I've heard of like hags, like, you know, coming up and
old ladies.
Yeah, like old lady.
Oh,
witches.
with the black eyes.
Yeah. Like I've heard stories about them coming in, like knocking on doors to people whose like tire goes out. You know what I mean? But never once have I ever heard about a child, a demonic child entity cryptid. That's interesting and horrifying.
Yeah, no. If listen, if your kid comes up to me and their eyes are all blacked out, I can't
help you.
Yeah, and I'm sorry for what I maybe do to try and get away from that situation. Like I don't know. I would
gaslight the demon into thinking that I couldn't see it. I would be like, I don't know. I guess there was some knocking or something, but I didn't hear it. You know, like
pretend it's not there.
No, I would literally erase it from my mind.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't register.
It's like standing outside the window, like, no, I'm right here. I'm right.
It's like it goes.
I know you can see me.
The demon's. It's like,
is this thing on?
Yeah. Hello.
I must be doing it wrong.
It disappears and comes back. You know. All right, we're gonna jump into a break here and be back with more after this. More Unleashed headed right at you after these messages. Stay tuned to ESPN Radio Winchester 1340 1069 for more.
Looking for a reliable car at an affordable price? Stop by Money Down Motors here in Deckard. We specialize in quality pre-owned vehicles with low down payments and flexible financing options. No matter your credit history, drive away today with a car you'll love and a payment plan that works for you. Visit us at 1945 Deckard Boulevard or call 931-962-3404 for more info. At Money Down Motors LLC, your ride is waiting.
You ever go down the rabbit hole at 2 in the morning and come out questioning everything? That's kind of what it's like listening to Unleashed with Chewy, presented by Burrell's Termite and Pest Control. That's right, this isn't your typical show. We're going to be talking conspiracies, space, movies, science, whatever our brains have got spinning that day. Some days make sense, most definitely don't. Either way, we're going to have a great time. Unleashed with Chewy, weekdays from 2 to 4 on ESPN Radio Winchester.
At ESPN Radio Winchester, our partners use aligned marketing. Radio, billboards, sports, even digital, all working together to build familiarity faster and more efficiently. Less noise, less competition, less waste. A lot of places sell ads, play commercials, and move on. But that's not marketing. We help businesses build a strategy with consistent messaging and creative that's actually remembered. Ads come and go. Marketing compounds. That's the difference between buying spots and building a brand with ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.
Back, ladies and gentlemen, to Unleashed on ESPN Radio Winchester 1340 1069, presented by our friends over there at Burrell's Termite and Pest Control. All right, I was interested in this White Bluff Screamer thing. Now, I actually have heard of this before. I've gone down, I wrote an article on 931 Go one time, just sort of talking about the cryptids from Tennessee. So this one I was actually familiar with. But I didn't do any intensive research, just sort of mild descriptions. But the wooded areas outside of Nashville, White Bluff is a small, dense tree lines, rural back roads, and patches of land where houses are very, very spaced out. Quiet at night, like really, really, really quiet at night, basically. And what people are reporting are sounds of what they say is a woman screaming, an animal being killed, or something in pain, but sustained for too long. People also describe it as metallic and echoey, and they say it doesn't behave like a normal sound. And the part that comes in here is it's not just that they're hearing noises, it's how it moves. The screaming sound starts far away and then suddenly gets very, very close. Echoes that feel like they're answering each other in a direction being impossible to pinpoint. Like you think like it's over there, then you hear it directly behind you, like that kind of thing.
That's way creepier.
And the worst part is they don't see anything. There is not a physical representation of whatever this is. There's no pictures, no videos. Any artistic rendition is based purely off of what people think it might be. They hear it, they experience it, but they never witness it. Some people claim a large, dark shape moving through trees. Some say it's low to the ground, and then others say there's quick movement just out of sight, but nothing consistent to lock it in as a creature. And it's almost purely all psychological, based like that. All these people
that's what they always tell you. You just it's just in your head. Just imagining.
I mean the visceral fear is all psychological. It's all because there's no physical thing to react to besides the sound. People have attributed it to possibly being foxes, because sometimes like a loud dying fox that can sound a little human-like. Bobcats in particular can sound very human, and even owl screeches. Some people say screech owls in particular are very, very unsettling if you don't know what you're listening for, which is true. But here's the other catch: it's almost always pitch black, almost always when somebody's alone, and you almost never see anything. The wooded area, the sounds basically bounce off of the trees in all directions. And also the hills themselves distort the direction of the noise, making it impossible to tell the difference of where it was coming from.
Bro, I'm never going to go out in the woods alone again.
So there's a lot of people who don't say that this is a creature, but rather a presence that exists in the woods around Nashville.
I bet we've got a lot of hunters who listen to the shows and who are involved in the station and stuff like that. I wonder what the weirdest thing any of them has ever experienced out in the wilderness, out in the woods.
I am genuinely curious about this, because this cannot be isolated. Because I've heard, growing up around here, me and my cousin, we would go out in the woods and we would go into creeks and fish and try to catch. We would set up pitfall traps hoping to catch rabbits or something like that, and we'd hear weird stuff all the time. Yeah. We would hear it. Here's the thing though, we never ran away. We were just like, boy, I hope that didn't come get us, and then we would go back, ask his dad, hey, this thing freaked us out, what was this? And he was like, well, what did it sound like? And then he would sort of explain what you probably heard was a bobcat or an owl
or the Bell Witch.
Well, he never said anything like that, but it gave me,
guy was nice.
It made very.
I would totally mess with my kids.
What was that noise? You should have been and you're like, I don't know. You're like,
the White Bluff Screamer?
The White Bluff Screamer? Is he there? We should. And then I'd be like, go back out there and see if he's there.
The Devil Step Demon?
The Devil Step Demon? Is he outside? Very interesting question. If anybody has gone hunting, good question for the Hall Furniture Facebook stream here. Have you guys ever experienced anything in particular like this as well? I'd like to know. I know that fishermen have reported to me seeing I've heard on more than one occasion of there being a 20-foot long catfish in Tim's Ford, or it moved up to a creek or something like that. Do you buy any of that?
I've never seen anything that big. The gar and some of the other stuff that I've seen is pretty crazy, but the things, I would say that the only time I ever get spooked is sometimes you'll be standing there and it's real quiet, and you just, all you can hear is the rippling of the waves, the water against the edge of the boat. And then all of a sudden this psycho squirrel will come out of a tree and it's just and that's about the scary, but it's a squirrel.
What would you say is the biggest fish in Tim's Ford? Would you say lengthwise 6 foot?
I don't know. I don't know.
We should ask the TWRA.
Yeah. That'd be a good question.
What's the biggest record catch? My dad used to go scuba diving in lakes around Tennessee and places like that. He said one time he went into a creek, and it was this crystal clear creek that was super deep, and he went down there, and at the very bottom he was going over. He had spooked a 8-foot long catfish or something, and it was so big that underneath him the water like literally pushed him out of the way from how strong the fish's tail was.
Oh, wow.
So that's an interesting. I've never seen these mystery catfish that are like 12 feet long that everyone keeps talking about.
Right.
But I do know that there are some like massive catfish that have been caught here. Yeah, Brett says there's absolutely catfish in Tim's Ford that are larger than men. Interesting. Are they number one, I imagine they're probably too big for any reel on Tim's Ford. That's not what people are fishing in Tim's Ford for. But secondly, are they not caught because of that? Like they just snap the line, or are they not caught because they're wiser?
Yeah, probably because they break the line. Some of them, let's see here. Man from Tennessee broke the blue catfish state record for the second time. Tennessee Wildlife, Micah Burkhart of Big Rock, Tennessee, beat his own record with a catfish that weighed 122 pounds.
Good God.
It was caught at Barkley Reservoir in Stewart County. 57 and a half inches in length, 42 and a half inches in girth.
That's a great way to describe that.
Yeah.
That is absolutely terrifying. Have you seen, though, have these guys who go in catfish hunting where they, like, stick their...
That's called noodling?
Yeah, noodling. That's what it is, yeah. You have to be a psychopath.
Yeah, nope.
Like, I'm like, what are you... Like, I'm a psychopath, and I'm telling you that that's crazy.
I would not ever want to... Like, I'm not going to stick my hand in a mud hole that I don't know what's down in there.
I watched this video where they stuck their whole body into the bank where like he couldn't reach it, so he literally slid like feet first into this hole in the side of the bank to go get this catfish. And I'm like, you're just asking for that thing to collapse on you. I'm like, I'm not doing that. First off, catfish are gross. I don't understand why people like it. It's a nasty animal. It's a bottom feeder, and it's gross. It's covered in algae. Don't eat a catfish. Eat something that's worth eating. Number two, you don't agree with me on that one?
Well, I don't have a problem with catfish in particular from a eating standpoint, but I can't imagine trying to catch a fish that way.
Oh,
so
yeah. It's like you're not even fishing anymore. You know what I mean? It's like tactical fishing. It's like, what are we doing? I think it's a fool's errand, and you shouldn't be doing it. Quit that.
Acting a fool.
Fishing poles are $5 at a thrift store. Okay, you can go to a thrift store and get a $5 fishing pole. You can fish with a stick. Okay, don't sit here and tell me that you got to stick your whole body into a muddy bank to get one fish. I'm sorry. But seriously though, if you guys have any idea about giant catfish like that that have been caught in Tim's Ford, let us know. Not just catfish, but just giant fish in general. Like, I want to know what the biggest animal in that lake is right now, and then we should go get it if we can catch it. Moving on. What was I saying?
Biggest fish in the lake. Go catch it. You don't want a noodle.
Yeah. I don't remember what I was going with that. I think we just got on the topic of it.
I don't know how we got on fish.
We got, just fishing in general, weird stuff like that. My apologies. Anyway, back to creepy stuff. Did you know that there is also a lake monster in the United States?
Really?
There is literally one. They literally call it like their version of Nessie. And this apparently is a phenomenon for a lot of lake towns to have their own version of this. I am proposing that we have a Winchester monster, Loch Ness monster sort of thing. I think we should have that for marketing and branding purposes.
Okay.
I think that would be a lot of fun, in particular, for us to have our own version of Nessie.
Yeah.
And maybe even it could be like a big bluegill bass or something, or I don't know.
I've definitely seen a big monster in our lake.
All right. Well,
I'm going to have to be more convincing.
Yeah, you'd have to be just slightly convincing, but I think
we're going to have to sketch this out. We're going to have to I think from like you said, from a marketing standpoint, I think that we can make this work.
So, Champ is it is from Lake Champlain. This is bordering.
Champy.
Yeah, Champy. This is the United States American Nessie, a supposed lake monster residing in Lake Champlain, bordering New York, Vermont, and Quebec. That's interesting. Indigenous Abenaki and Iroquois tribes speak of a giant serpent called Giadaskog, which was, while modern reports often describe the creature resembling a plesiosaur, the original text describes something closer to an eel. Over 200 years of sighting, alleged drone footage, and filmmakers have all gone to go and see if this creature is actually there. I don't think they did the study that they did in the Loch Ness for it.
Right.
They did a few years ago. They did a sonar study and mapped the entirety of the Loch Ness to basically go and look for if this thing exists. And they did not find anything. But key aspects of the American Nessie, it is commonly described as having a long neck and being serpentine in nature. In 2024, a drone footage was from a film production showed a large swimming creature, which was later presented to the History Channel's The Unexplained in 2025.
Crazy.
Yeah. So the evidence is in a documentary now shared and available online.
Duh.
The only possible definitive evidence of the Lake Champlain monster. The Port Henry in New York holds parades for Champ, and the local minor leagues baseball team is named the Vermont Lake Monsters. But some experts suggest that this is a misidentified fish, otters, or just floating logs. And this is also called Wessie, as in West Nessie, which is also something that they do in Maine as well. So there's a Maine Wessie up there. Very interesting stuff. I did not know this was caught on film, though. I need to look up Champ. So they call it Champ. Champy is what they call it. I need to look that up. Some videos of that. Also, as well, speaking of footage, did you know that famous Bigfoot footage, they still reference that as like the biggest source of Bigfoot influence? You know what I mean? Or closest to realization, even though there was a guy who admitted on his deathbed that it was him with the thing. That being said, I did look this up. There was a ecological study done by a cryptozoologist who was also a ecologist, and he reported that if there were as many Bigfoots as there are tigers in India,
right,
that there is it is easily understandable that we had never had an official sighting of one of these things.
Really?
Yeah. Considering it would be a large mammal that did not subside off of heavy amounts of meat, or it's assumed that if there was a population of these animals, that there is enough space in the American Northwest to basically say that it could totally exist without us knowing.
So in 2010, there was 1,706 tigers in India. That number has now more than doubled. It's up to 3,682 due to conservation efforts being made up in India. But I'm not sure when that claim was made. But essentially, what you're saying is if there were 1,500 to 3,000 Bigfoots roaming around, all your family members, they could be pretty good, like hide and seek champions of the world.
People don't realize is the northwestern American rainforests are some of the least explored and mapped areas in the world. Like similar to the Siberian wilderness, where people just don't go out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they're afraid of things like the white bluff howler and stuff.
Very possibly. I don't know. I don't know about that personally, but I would like to go
run
and
into
see
you.
It. Yeah, they're afraid of running into me is the big thing. All right, we're going to take a break here. Be back with more Unleashed with Chewy. We're sponsored by our friends over there at Burrell's Termite and Pest Control. Stay tuned after these messages. Got more after this.
Spring is in the air, and so are fresh new savings at Furniture Merchandise Outlet, FMO, right here in Tullahoma. Ready to refresh your space? From living rooms and bedrooms to dining sets and mattresses, FMO has the styles you want at prices you'll love. No long waits, no sticker shock. Just take it home today. Visit them at 105 North Jackson Street in Tullahoma or browse anytime at FMOTN.com. Furniture Merchandise Outlet, where spring cleaning turns into a spring upgrade.
There are all kinds of guys out there. Sports guys, hunting guys, even those DIY guys. But let's be honest, not every guy's built the same. We're garage guys. We show up on time, we do the job right, and we don't cut corners. From installs to repairs, we take pride in doing it right the first time. Serving Franklin, Coffee, Bedford, Lincoln, and Moore County, it's quality work you can trust. So call Garage Guys today or find them online at GarageGuys931.com. Garage Guys, built different.
This is Daryl from Columbus, previously from the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Check in scissor hands. I'm the wrong guy to ask, but what's the secret to a good haircut?
A good haircut makes you feel confident. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, when you get that haircut, you're going to walk out that barbershop, you're going to look in the mirror, and you're going to be like, yeah, that's it. And you're going to tip the barber.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, weekdays at 3 Eastern on the ESPN app and on the SEC network. From the 931 Go Weather Center, it's time for an ESPN Radio Winchester weather update, presented by Bennett's Pharmacy.
After our very warm afternoon, we are cooling all the way down to a low of only 62 degrees tonight. Nice and beautiful outside with a slight wind coming in and only around 5 miles per hour. So get out there and enjoy your wonderful evening while you stay tuned to ESPN Radio Winchester, 1340 1069.
Looking for more than just prescriptions? Bennett's Pharmacy in Winchester has it all. Grab a bite from our menu, browse our boutique for one-of-a-kind finds, and sip on a Bloody Marty that's worth talking about, all in one stop. Located at 1201 Dinah Shore Boulevard, Bennett's Pharmacy is your unexpected destination for great food, fun shopping, and so much more. Call us at 931-967-2777 or come see what everyone's raving about.
Welcome back to Unleashed on ESPN Radio Winchester 1340 1069. Sponsored by our friends over there at Burrell's Termite and Pest Control. All right, we're talking about it. Aliens, UFO sightings, things like that. Is that something that you guys believe in particularly? I actually have a theory on that personally. I struggle with UFOs, to be honest with you. I want to believe in UFOs. Genuinely, I do. But I have a very hard time genuinely believing that little green men have come to visit us personally, even with all of the information that they released during COVID. It's weird, but these strange one-offs that can't be verified on the black tape, like at a certain point it's not worth arguing about for me. My problem with UFOs actually sort of comes down to math, is just and probability. But what about Joe? Do you believe in like UFOs? Like, have you ever seen footage that's been where it's like made you think, or do you think we've ever been visited by an extraterrestrial entity of any kind?
No, I'm kind of like you. It's really hard to believe with the evidence that I say evidence. I say it really with air quotes. The evidence that's been shown, But to your point, I mean, I can't imagine that we would have as wide a view as we've got of the universe or universes around us and not come up with anything. And then, too, you consider as far as if we as a planet are in this Goldilocks zone, from a mathematical standpoint, it's almost an impossibility that life on our planet even exists, much less other planets.
Right. You're hitting what I was sort of hinting at.
Yeah.
It was like for me, like the thought of a UFO alone, like let's strip away what makes us special for a second, right? Think about like what would have to happen for a UFO to come to Earth and us witness it. You know what I mean? The probability of an extraterrestrial planet having life on it, that's not that rare. That's probably not a very rare phenomenon. Multicellular, complex life forms that are cognitively aware, that really drops. You know what I mean? Like we have, I'm sure there's probably tons of life. There's life in probably clouds, in nebulae, and in atmospheres, and microorganisms, and amoebas, and like this kind of thing, probably everywhere. But when you ask, say, okay, now do we have life forms on the planet that have awareness, or at least to an extent an awareness of their surroundings, they react to it,
right?
They are subjected to it. Then how many of those planets have life that has evolved to know each other, to be have a theory of mind, to understand its place in the universe? And then how many of those have lasted long enough as a species through either natural or unnatural consequence of the universe to make a space program, and then make a space program and then have the incentive to go outside of their own solar system and have the technology and understanding and willpower to do that? And there's 450 billion stars and planet in the Milky Way alone.
Right.
But if there's an intelligent species that wants to go and kiss the cosmos, in my opinion, that's probably a double or single digit. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we're probably so far apart that by the time we would ever make the decision to meet each other, the species would have gone extinct.
Right.
Entropy would have caught up with it. That's kind of my problem with UFOs, is like there's a lot of like faith in the numbers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you look at how infinitesimally small we are easy to miss. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if there was another intelligent species out there looking, where else would you look except for places like your own? Do you know what I mean? So there's it kind of I teeter on like I don't like the Star Trek and the Star Wars, like that's a fantasy. Mm-hmm. That will always be a fantasy. If there were multiple interstellar species cohabitating one galaxy, there's so much space that they could both evolve, create themselves, explore part of the galaxy, and then go extinct before the other one even knows that it exists.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just through relativity. You know what I mean? Alone. Brett Crabtree jumped in saying, "Explain the math in going to the moon. It's just not plausible. It's on government documents." But I'm gonna let you know that one, Brett. You can just look it up. It's public information. It's all accessible. I did it in high school. But anyway, as far as
don't upset him.
Intersolar math, relativity, and stuff like all of the things that you have to consider. Number one, if a UFO ever got to Earth, I don't think it's a manned thing. We wouldn't send a manned mission to Alpha Centauri. Okay, we would send a probe, a satellite, maybe. Why are you about to laugh? You're like, is it because I said the word probe?
You said probe.
Yeah, okay. But you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So if I saw a UFO, I'm not like, shoot that down, there's a little green man in there. I'm like, oh boy, that thing is a buoy and it's going to send some information away. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Or it could be what you're looking at is a ghost. It could be sent by another civilization that doesn't exist anymore.
I think more interesting to me than the mysteries outside of our planet are the mysteries within the planet that we are just like not like things that we can't even understand, that we can't even start to understand. The pyramids, and not just how they were built, but what their purpose was for, because they're finding things as far as what they're made from, and like crystal formations and things like that, where there's this like, could they have been some part of bigger tool to create energy and resonance and this and that and all these other things? Are there pyramids in Antarctica? Are there pyramids and two, how do you have some of the same drawings and artwork and sculpted, things in different parts of the world, from hundreds of thousands of years ago, supposedly?
Yeah, the Mayans had Asian jade, and stuff like that, and there was lots of stories about Polynesian people meeting pale individuals,
and they have these images that look like guys in spaceships.
Yeah.
And they're drawn similarly on one side of the world than they are to the other side of the world.
I will say that people in those positions, I will say there's a believability, though, that humans often come to the same conclusions independently. I mean, we see that a lot. But, with the pyramids in particular, I did read a study that this guy did. He actually thinks they built, the pyramids were built backwards, where they stacked a bunch of things and then took the shell off of it, almost like a mold, where they do you know how they build dungeons?
No.
So in a castle, how does a castle have such a deep basement? What they would do is they would fill in a void with earth and then build the bricks on top of the earth and then hand scoop out the dirt from the basement. Like shovel it out, and the stones would stay. There's a guy online who postulated the idea that the pyramids were set with a second set around them, and then the stones that were used to set the stones were created to make the second pyramid. I'm not explaining it very well, but it's a very interesting deep dive and makes a lot of sense, especially for there's water channels that if you take an aerial view of the pyramids, you can see hand-carved water channels around it and the little places where the artisans who are working on the pyramids lived. And it's all you see the whole complex carved into the stone. And it takes that into account, and how did they move the granite blocks? They show how they were wetting sand on, and then had skis where they would pull these stones across the sand and use reeds, water-filled reeds, to float these bricks down the canals to get them to certain places. Really, really in-depth, fascinating ways that they talked about and put these things together.
Right.
It is a mystery, but it's not as much of a mystery as everyone says it is. The mystery comes in from the precision of the structure. Right, almost perfect. Yeah. And with people who are using water as a leveler, you know what I mean? That's where sort of like that magic comes in for me. And also the fact that there's all these, like, the Egyptian government's real weird. Like, there are tons of, like, well-known, unstudied, like, just tombs, ruins, caves with artifacts in Egypt that archaeologists and scholars are blocked off from going from because the Egyptian government has barred them from doing so because they don't want the public to know about it yet.
Yeah.
And people don't know why. The prevailing theory is that they only want to open it if they're in some sort of struggle financially, and then they can go, oh, look at what we just found. You know what I mean? And that's the conspiracy theory as to why the Egyptian government is hiding new discoveries and basically barring archaeologists from going is to infer that it's a financial thing. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's a mystical thing. Maybe they're hiding a lizard god under there or something. I don't know. But we won't know until we go and dig it up.
I think that one.
It's a lot more interesting. But it is something.
What if that's just how we operated going forward? We just believe the wildest theory that we could come up with.
Brett says, so you believe everything the government tells you? Of course not.
No, we were just talking about this morning. Like, if you've got kids, there's a comedian that tells this joke. Like, the United States government is in charge of billions of people. I have a handful of kids, and I lie to them all the time. You know? And I think that there's totally stuff. There's stuff about 9/11 that we probably don't know that would blow our minds.
I think the government actually probably omits information more than it lies.
Yeah.
You know?
Like JFK. There's stuff in there. There's stuff about the the aliens and all the things that we here's the thing. I believe that where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
And you got situations like these 11 scientists or whatever that go missing, or the Area 51 stuff, or the alien crashes and other things like that. Well, maybe it's not that, but there's something there. There's some reason.
That was for me with like JFK, because I used to be like a denier.
Right.
Like I was like, nope, he was killed by a crazy gunman,
Right.
this or that. Then you like delve into like public information.
Yeah.
Like even public information on like the .gov sites.
Mm.
And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
hold on. You know what I mean? Like somebody knew something.
Well,
you know what I mean?
That's how I am about even things like the moon landing and stuff like that. Is that there's too many things where it's like, come on, really? Like, how many excuses can we have about certain things where at some point it's just like, you lost me.
Mhm.
You lost me because
You've too many just trust me's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you expect me to just trust you,
Right.
but we put two dudes on the moon. You're gonna have to show me some
Right.
proof. Like that's what you're thinking.
like the COVID thing with Fauci. Like Fauci was this, and everybody's like, no, you can't talk bad about Fauci. Fauci's great. Fauci saved the country. Fauci this, that, and the other thing. And then you get to Fauci's emails, and you're like, oh, Fauci was kind of a bleep.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Like this guy was totally just making it up as he went along, and that's kind of where I come from.
I think that's a good. Well, number one, I think you'd be stupid to believe everything that
Yeah.
the government tells you.
I don't know I don't know how much stuff they're purposefully going out and like lying to us about or hiding from us, but I do think that there's a lot of stuff where they don't know any more than we do.
That's probably more often the case, is that they actually are just saying things to
Yeah.
calm people down sometimes, but that can make it worse. You know what I mean? Where you got to
Right.
live the lie. I would love like for the apocalypse to happen and just go through like government files and just be like, oh, why would you even lie about that? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Whoa!
What up, Waddy?
We got some surprise guests in here just as we're wrapping up the show. You gonna come say a few words, my friend? Yeah. Okay. What words would you like to say that are radio appropriate?
Hi.
Hey, what's up? Hold on. Let me switch to the wide shot. You guys came in at the exact right time. You gonna come in case we're just about to close out of here. You want to say something, Crux?
I made it to volume 2.
You made it to
There you
volume
go.
2.
Snuck in right before the deadline.
All right. Well, thank you so much for both of you for hopping in here at the last second to say goodbye. I just wanted Crosby, you did make it.
2
DJ
for 2.
Crooks, 2 for 2. Unleashed OG. All right. Well, we're gonna. I think that's just about everything for us this afternoon.
I like cars.
All right. Well,
Waddy likes cars. You got to do a show on cars.
All right, we're gonna do cars tomorrow, specifically electric ones.
No.
Yeah.
Fast ones.
Yeah. Oh, fast ones.
Yeah.
Right. So
Supercars.
fast.
Muscle cars.
So fast electric cars.
No.
Oh no. Right.
Gas and electric.
Say cars
okay.
cars that are bad for the environment.
Only cars that are bad for the environment,
Yeah.
supposedly. Even though the amount of lithium that we're pulling out of the ground to make one vehicle
That's
is actually
true.
enough pollution that from 120. Anyway, but
Only cars that get less than 10 miles to the gallon.
yeah, there you go. All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in so much. Brett, I appreciate you and everyone else for jumping in the chat this morning. Jack, you going to say anything?
Bye-bye.
He's
No.
a man of many words.
Man, I got
He
you.
said no. He said no.
He says no. All right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in with Unleashed.
I'm just gonna say goodbye for Jack.
Okay, say goodbye for Jack. And then we will tune in with some more headed on here tomorrow. This has been Unleashed with Chewy. Thank you, Joe, for hopping in and saving the day with us. Tune in for more tomorrow morning. We've got the starting lineup, and tonight we've got boys baseball going against, is it Tullahoma?
Tullahoma.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that and go out there and support these boys. So thank you all so much for tuning in. This has been Unleashed with Chewy. Sponsored by our friends over there at Burroughs Termite and Pest Control.
Out with the cold, in with the comfort. Refresh your home with Hall Furniture in Winchester. From stylish living room sets to cozy recliners and dining pieces made for gathering, now's the perfect